What do economists exist for? First and foremost, they've got to be there to try to explain to the policymakers and also to a certain extent to the general public and the business community what it is that makes this extraordinary miracle of a market economy work.
I think the key professional responsibility, like any other profession, is to tell it how it is, not to tell people what they want to hear or promote particular ideologies, but to do what you would expect a doctor or an engineer to do. And I use these kind of analogies because these are the things that seem to me like economics ought to be, subjects that have a serious basis in academic disciplines, but are actually about practical things, about helping people with the real problems they face in the world every day.
The economics profession aspires to be the expert and the guidance and control system for our society and our decisions, particularly about allocating material resources. They have been very opinionated for many, many years, and they have acted as though they were entitled to that leadership. But in the most recent episode, the economics profession failed to prescribe preventive medicine, didn't diagnose this crisis early on, and actually really hasn't diagnosed this crisis adequately even at this moment, 2 years after its onset. So what I would say is the profession has a responsibility to explain what's happening in the world and to help us, essentially like a navigator, avoid the icebergs and shoals. We haven't done a very good job of that in recent months.
The obvious answer one says of almost any profession is to try not to do any harm. This is famously what is said of doctors should start with that. It's difficult to define what not doing harm is in this case because the effects of economists' theories, their recommendations, are diffuse and very difficult to measure. And you have to do your best, you have to do your honest best. I think, to my mind, the most important thing that economists have to be honest about is how little they understand. They're dealing with what I think of as simply the most complex human system we know about. Perhaps the most complicated system we know about. If you think about what is involved in the world economy as a whole, we don't really understand how it works. I think we've made some genuine progress in the last 2 centuries. We don't really understand it. Rather, as doctors don't understand, and even less 100 years ago or so. If we honestly admit that in giving advice, there are lots of things we don't understand, we're doing our best, and that this ignorance should, to some degree, this lack of certainty about the facts, about the relevant theories, about how the world behaves, should and does inform the way we give advice, I think we will have gone a long way towards regaining the trust that clearly has been lost.